fill in the blank, off-season style. Number one, Brez.
Yes.
One word to describe the 2020 NBA season. Fill in that blank.
Yeah, I went with surreal. I mean, the way it all started back in China seemingly a decade ago, all the way up through the regular season was pretty good for the Lakers. Obviously, Kobe's death back in January, none of us will ever forget that. And, of course, the shutdown got a little chaotic there. Finally, got to the playoffs, and good things happened for the Lakers. It ended with a nice big bow on top of it. Long, uneven, unpredictable journey to get there, though, guys.
Surreal, good word. One word to describe the 2020 NBA season for you, Mike Trudell, what would it be?
Yeah, I like surreal. I went with Odyssey. This was just tying into Greek mythology. It almost seemed like a tale, right? That you would have had to, if I would have tried to explain, Geeter, what happened for this season to you, there is just no possible, like, forget China. That, like, all of that, just that doesn't even register. But the Kobe thing, like, how completely unbelievable was that? And then the global pandemic, and then if I would have tried to explain to you the bubble concept,
can't do it.
Disney World, that's just nothing. There's no possible way any of that could have happened. So yeah, man, it was an odyssey.
Where does LeBron stand in your GOAT rankings? Fill in the blank, Brez.
Right now, number 2. Michael Jordan 6-0 in the finals. That's pretty good. I think he's number 1. But I'll tell you what, LeBron doing it with 3 different teams, getting there to the promised land. That's pretty special as well. He's got nothing to be ashamed of for sure. What would have happened if he would have stayed in one team throughout his career, like MJ basically did? We know the throwaway years with Washington. But, hey, he's been fun to watch. Big pickup for the Lakers, obviously. And he and AD were quite spectacular.
Remember when MJ went and played baseball in the middle of his career?
Yeah.
It's a year and a half. Insane. I do think that helped refuel his mind and body for that second three-peat.
And he could smoke 4 cigars and play 36 holes before an NBA Finals game and go out and score 45.
Unreal.
That's crazy.
Well, and that right there, though, that is the difference in some sense. And so I said Mount Rushmore. But that, in the whole Jordan-LeBron thing, the difference is LeBron has had this insane extended prime. It's just never happened before.
No one's seen that.
I mean, Kareem was closer to that, but, you know, by the end, he had Magic kind of, you know, at the MVP level doing some of that heavy lifting. So those are 2 of the names, by the way, that I would also include on Mount Rushmore, in addition to Jordan. And then Kobe is right there, too. So, like, it's tough. You got to take 2 out of 3 between Magic, Kobe, and Kareem.
Yeah, it's hard.
Like, that's tough. But LeBron, I do think, is firmly on the wall now.
You both basically have him on the Mount Rushmore. I don't know what else you could want in the argument. It's so hard to debate.
Look, he's not done. He's not done. Like, he could win again next year. He could be the Finals MVP again next year.
Give me one more. I'm going to make some changes, Mike.
He's still good. It wasn't like he slowed down this year.
Give me one more time.
And his game has the ability to extend as well, based on what
we'll play this game in a year or 2 if they win again. Lakers free agent, Brez, going to have you fill in this blank. Not named AD you would want to see return. We're not going to let you out easy, Brez.
Yeah, I tried to say AD, tried to push it on the producer. He said no.
Did you try to give B-More our producer AD?
But he said no.
Smart man.
That is the correct answer.
It is correct. But Brez is trying to win the game.
Who's second place for me? I'm going to go with Rondo here. Really love what he brought to the table when he returned to the team. Obviously, a slow start for him in the bubble. Didn't even play in the seeding games or the first round. Once he came around, though, he was really fun to watch, really kept everybody engaged.
Amazing.
And that's the thing you hear the most about him when you talk to the coaching staff or his teammates. He's like a 6th coach on that floor, even when he's on the sidelines. I mean, it's really impressive to hear what everyone says about his desire and also his knowledge of the game. It's pretty deep.
Yeah, Mike Trudell, Lakers free agent, not named AD, you want to see return, fill in the blank.
I went with KCP. So Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. You know, for all the heat that he took at the start of the season for, you know, not hitting a couple of jump shots, he ends up shooting around 40% for the season anyway. And then he was better in the bubble. Consistent on defense, chased point guards around like the Dame Lillard variety, could play against some bigger guards, always gave you effort, always getting out in transition, created his own shot a couple of times when the Lakers needed him to, was a better passer than some people think, and shot the 3-ball well again in the postseason. So KCP, to me, super key 3-and-D player. You cannot find behind those guys. That's what everybody in the league wants. So I do think it's important that they get KCP back.
This is why fans aren't coaches. They would have had KCP and Rondo traded.
Right.
Yeah.
Now they're heroes.
Yeah.
Facts.
Got to stay
Stepped up.
Some fans, there are many smart Lakers
No,
fans
I
out
know,
there.
I was kidding.
But
We all get emotional.
The ones you hear the most from in your ad replies, yes, say that all the time.
I understand it from being a Dodger fan now. You're a Dodger fan while on the couch is a whole different ballgame than being on the set.
Constantly. Come on, man. Come on, May.
Come on.
Come on, Dustin.
Number 4. Biggest need for Lakers in the offseason, Brez.
Well, it's going to be a very
Beautiful music.
short offseason. I went with health. I mean, LeBron, a year ago,
Good one.
remember how long his offseason was? He had an eternity to kind of get his body ready, get his mind ready. He obviously did not like missing the playoffs. This is going to be, what, 2 months? Maybe? Something like that? I mean, it's going to be a quick turnaround. They don't want to have anything unfortunate happen to them, like what happened with DeMarcus Cousins last year before the season. Just maintain your health, guys. A shooter was second on my list. One more shooter. There's some decent free agents out there that can shoot the ball.
Who needs more rest, Brez? You or the Lakers?
I do. Yeah, we went pretty hard that night. They won it all.
Concur. Biggest need for Lakers in the offseason.
This is going to be a hard disagree for me there with Brez. I'm going to go with the Lakers. But anyway, yeah. My answer is going to be about Alex Caruso. And that's Caruso is signed. We good. Okay?
That's it.
Don't worry about it. You got the GOAT coming back.
That's it, huh?
He's only going to get better. Okay? Frank Vogel saved the secret weapon for Game 6. What
Bigger
happened, Geeter?
Twitter legend in sports than Alex Caruso. Can you even name one?
Well, I don't know, and I don't need to. But Geeter, do you remember what happened in the first half when Caruso started? How'd that first half go in Game 6?
Up 30.
Okay.
That's it.
See ya.
Caruso signed. We good.
Later, guys.
The last time we had to walk up the set was when Brez chose pineapple pizza as the number one topping.
Shocking.
The number one topping of all the. So
That was shocking. You got a lot of flack for that.
Yeah, my girlfriend still doesn't want to talk to me. So it's.
Kelly's upset.
She's upset. I get it, too.
I don't blame
she
Kelly.
Should be. She should be.
All right.
I had to tell the truth.
When do you expect next season to start, Brez? Man, there's a lot of interesting themes we're hearing lately, aren't we, friends?
Christmas seems a little too close for comfort. I'm going to go with MLK Day. I think that's an apropos time to have it happen. Yeah, a few weeks into the month of January, start up training camp, maybe right after Christmas. Unfortunately, we don't make these decisions. You know, a lot of important people are going to be figuring that out. But I'm going to stick with MLK Day, especially on what we've experienced over the last several months with the players voicing so many important concerns and opinions. MLK Day sounds about right to me.
I hope Adam Silver reaches out to you. I like your thought process.
Put my number out.
Mike Trudell?
Yeah, I concurred. I said MLK Day as well. What I don't know, and none of us know, but I think I have some confidence in this. They let science lead the way for the bubble. Now, we're not going to have a year-long bubble. And it certainly doesn't look like there's not going to be a vaccine that's ready to go out publicly right by potentially Christmas or MLK Day necessarily. But I think that, of course, the NBA would love, and all the teams would love to have fans in the stands. But can they do that safely indoors, right? It's not an outdoor sport like football, especially what we're seeing in the South. So that, to me, is the much bigger issue. And that's I think we can trust that Adam Silver and then Michelle Roberts and the Players Association, they're going to keep all of that in mind. It just, they're going to have to figure that out. But it's a tough one, Geeter.
Very well played, fill in the blank. Odyssey, surreal, good words, strong stuff. We're back with more.
And I do need some rest.
After Access, Shams of The Athletic sharing this earlier this week. The Lakers have requested a career-ending injury application to have Luol Deng's salary removed from their team books. Deng agreed to a buyout with the Lakers in 2018. He retired last October and is owed salary through 2022. Going into the archives to break out some Luol Deng highlights. Your reaction to this, Brez?
I like the effort. I don't know if it's going to happen. I mean, he did play 22 games after he left the Lakers, but there is a little bit of a case precedence. Timofey Mozgov, another ex-Lakers signing, he was waived by the Orlando Magic, and they were able to get his money back after they bought out his contract because they said he retired, and he did, even though he played a little bit overseas. So, thinking outside the box, which I appreciate that. They are on the hook for about $10 million over the next 2 years of Deng cap money.
Yeah, it's incumbent upon every front office to maximize their financial flexibility, and that would just speak to that, right? So I think that one thing that Rob Pelinka has done is cancel out any of the bad contracts that may have been on the books, and they have now given themselves the ability to have some, actually use for example, the mid-level exception, or if they wanted to, they could package some players, right, and take a contract back. Like, so they're in pretty good shape in terms of the cap.
Magic talked about that when he came on our.
I remember with James. Yeah.
Luol Deng made more than a lot of the Lakers that just won a ring.
Yeah.
By the way.
Yeah.
So listen, when you're coming off a chip, there are expectations for the next season, and they begin immediately. You know, social media, the rumors about players going everywhere happen. That's always a lot of fun. NBA Twitter's probably the best at that. Do the Lakers run it back with the current roster, or look to make some upgrades?
As Mike mentioned, they might have a little mid-level money, about $5 million to kind of spread out there. It depends what they lose. You know, if KCP goes elsewhere, if Rondo goes elsewhere, Dwight Howard, to me, Dwight's probably the most likely to go somewhere else. He's going to want a multi-year deal, probably his last multi-year deal of his career, unless they do lose more than a couple of these guys I just mentioned. Then maybe they try to beef it up a little bit via trade or something like that.
I want to look back to the 2009 offseason when the Lakers brought in Ron Artest, right? And he was basically the only rotation player that was different from the championship team and was so key in giving them just somebody that hadn't been there, some new energy, a guy that hadn't won, some of that additional hunger. I think that's important to have at least one player on the team like that, but I don't see any reason why you wouldn't want to bring back the majority of this core, this tight team, really good chemistry on the court, really good chemistry off the court, and I think that the Lakers again are going to be in a pretty good financial position to be able to do that, to be able to bring back several of those guys, and then look, maybe bring in one player or two from the outside.
I say run it back. Coming up, Mike and Mike will fill us in with the blanks. Fill in the blanks, we call it, on some hot topics surrounding the NBA champs. Plus, where does LeBron rank in the GOAT convo? We'll discuss that and more next on Access.